Now on CoastTV News.
Capsize causes commotion, the tense scene in Ocean City as emergency crews rescue 5 people from the water. Sands of Strength, we break down the big lifeguard competition that begins this morning in Rehoboth Beach.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Elisa Weber and welcome to CoastTV News Midday. We are taking a live look outside in Lewis this morning, and it's a warm and muggy day. Not as warm as muggy as yesterday, a little bit more bearable. We see some clouds, and we're going to bring in First Alert Meteorologist Bob Trahey because, Bob, those clouds mean some storms are coming.
Absolutely, Elisa, and good morning. Yes, I think we're looking at that storm chance increasing this evening, but it's warm out there today, but a good 8 to 10 degrees cooler than it was yesterday at this time when we saw 90s. But right now, it's basically low to mid 80s, 82 in Georgetown, Millsboro, 83. At the beaches, 82 in Lewis and 83 in Bethany Beach right now. Dew point temperatures still very high into the mid, even upper 70s, telling us that that's indicating very, very muggy conditions. And feels like temperatures in some places, lower 90s from Long Neck to Delmarva, feeling like 94 in Seaford. Yesterday at this time, we had triple-digit feels like temperature, so not as warm today as we have some cloud cover out there right now. Nothing in the way of any kind of storms yet, but there is a stationary boundary to the north, and that will be the focus for showers and storm to develop later and then move in as we go through the evening hours. We do have a flood watch for Sussex County, basically all of Delaware for this evening for the potential of flash flooding. A watch means conditions are favorable for that. Salisbury to the coast, the flood watch, and also the same for the eastern shore. That goes until 2 p.m. But I think really much of the daylight hours were dry. By noon, we're in the mid 80s and then close to 90 inland areas by 2 and 80s and 90s at the beaches. Still dry at 4 o'clock, but then as we go into the dinner hour and beyond, showers and storms, some of those with very heavy rain and maybe flash flooding as well. That's going to be the main concern as we go into the evening hours. There is a yellow alert for that potential, so really be weather aware this evening as the rains pick up. Feels like temperatures ahead of the showers, upper 90s well inland and not as hot farther to the east as it was yesterday as we're warming into the upper 80s today. Then that chance of storms picking up, especially after 6 p.m. and some of those could be severe, but the main threat being the heavy rain. I'll talk about that and let you know what we can expect heading into the weekend coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Thank you, Bob. And we are now taking a live look at Rehoboth Beach this morning, and happening now. Over 300 lifeguards are on the beach. You can see them in the distance there. This is for the 2025 United States Life-Saving Association's Mid-Atlantic Regional Championship. Lifeguards are attempting to win a spot at the Life-Saving Association's national competition in California this August. Developing news in Laurel, 2 people have been arrested in connection to shots fired. Police say it happened Tuesday evening at the Hollybrook apartment complex. Police confirmed there were no injuries reported. The department says it is continuing to investigate the cause of this event. A pontoon boat capsized in the Ocean City Inlet on Tuesday. It happened around 5 o'clock. We're told 5 people were on that boat and they ended up in the water. According to the Ocean City Fire Department, everyone was okay. Natural Resources Police rescued those 5 people. The video you're seeing on your screen now was the aftermath, a rescue boat dragging the pontoon to shore. We spoke with someone at Harrison's Harbor Watch right next to the inlet. She says lifeguards stepped in immediately.
I saw everything. So I saw the people floating by. I saw the boat also floating by. I saw people getting pulled onto the boat as well. Fire, EMS, everything. I was serving a table and I looked out there and then I see everybody floating by and I'm like, what the heck? They were very quick with saving everybody, pulling people onto the boat. I was watching everybody get pulled on. And then of course the lifeguards helping them up onto like the little surfboard things.
And we're told the boat hit a rock before flipping, and officials have yet to confirm that information. The boat was drifting almost west of Ocean City before it was tugged back to shore. And for more information on this and how officials say you can spot an emergency, you can head to coasttv.com. And today is the first full day U.S. air travelers without TSA pre-check can wear shoes through airport security. Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem says officials believe it's safe to end that rule. She points to the new Real ID requirements and says screening technology has evolved since 2001. That's when a passenger tried to ignite explosives in his shoes on a flight to Miami.
Many people will be on airlines traveling in and out of our airports, and it's important that we find ways to keep people safe, but also streamline and make the process much more enjoyable for every single person.
And Nome says officials also want to increase airport efficiency before the United States hosts the World Cup and the Olympics. Happening today in Lewis, hydrant flow testing. That's according to the city's Board of Public Works. The board says tests will now happen on the second Wednesday of every month. During the testing, you might notice low water pressure or discolored water. If that happens, officials say run your cold water for 10 to 15 minutes until it clears up, and avoid doing laundry during the tests. Happening now, troubling insights from officials in the wake of catastrophic flooding in Texas. For the first time, they are sharing the number of those presumed to be missing. That number, more than 170 across the entire flood zone, with 161 in hard-hit Kerr County. NBC's Jay Gray shows us what's next for survivors.
As the massive search effort continues, this stunning revelation from Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
Just in the Kerr County area alone, there are 161 people who are known to be missing.
More than 170 unaccounted for across the entire flood zone. This tragedy defined by the staggering numbers, more than 110 dead.
I've lost friends, true friends, and we've lost precious families, precious children. I wish to God there was a way we could have warned them.
There are growing questions, tension, and frustration over whether there was adequate staffing at the National Weather Service and timely warnings before the storm and as the water started to rise. There is no debate about how difficult the cleanup and recovery here will be, or how vital volunteers are as that process begins.
But we had 33 angels show up on Sunday out of nowhere.
Gutting his flood-ravaged home, cutting away soaked sheetrock, clearing out the waterlogged remnants of his life before the storm.
It's just, totally different aspect of volunteering and paying it forward. I don't know where people show up, just wanting to help. That's just amazing.
An effort many consider a responsibility and privilege.
Just to be Texans and just coming together and doing what we need to do.
With this part of Texas battered and hurting. Jay Gray, NBC News, Kerrville.
Coming up after the break, feelings on inflation, how Americans are feeling after months of fast rising prices related to tariffs. A survey suggests Americans are feeling more optimistic that inflation won't heat back up. That's according to a consumer report from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. There's been anxiety for months about fast rising prices related to tariffs, but this survey finds that anxiety has eased a bit in June. Consumers' near-term inflation expectations fell for the second month in a row. Happening today, a road closure for drivers in Salisbury. The city says starting today, a private contractor will begin milling and paving work on Benny Street between Naylor Street and Marshall Street. The project is expected to wrap up in about 2 days, weather permitting. And here's another closure to tell you about. This one is in Millsboro. DelDOT says Delaware Avenue is closing between DuPont Boulevard and Millsboro Highway for construction beginning Monday, July 14th. This is for the installation of 3 crossroad pipes. DelDOT says that work is expected to finish August 4th, weather permitting.
It's a warm and muggy Wednesday across Delmarva. Some puffy cumulus clouds in Laurel, 83 and very muggy out there. Headed into the upper 80s, close to 90 as we go into the afternoon hours. We are watching for the potential of flash flooding this evening. We do have a yellow alert for that potential. More on that coming up. Congratulations to Brian Bard from Seaford on winning a brand new umbrella from CoastTV and Paul Davis. I'll have more on the flood potential in my forecast after the break. It's another warm and muggy summer day, but not nearly as hot as it was yesterday. We're at 85 at Ocean View on the Gutter Helmet Cam, seeing some puffy cumulus clouds, some blue skies as well. Dew points in the upper 70s, so it's still that tropical air mass in place as we do get into the mid 80s today. But we're about 5 to 7 degrees cooler today than we were yesterday at this time. Of course, we were in the 90s. Feels like temperatures in the triple digits, but a little cooler out there due to the clouds and some of the rain we picked up the past 24 hours. We do have a flood watch in effect really much of Delmarva. A watch means conditions are favorable for flash flooding, and that's a distinct possibility as we go into this evening. You'll want to stay weather aware. All across Delmarva, you see this green color. That's a flood watch, specifically Sussex County. That goes until 2 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then Salisbury to Ocean Pines and along the coast, your flood watch also goes until 2 o'clock Thursday morning. The same for the eastern shore from Easton to Hurlock and Reeds Grove. Watch for that potential flash flooding this evening. We're looking at temperatures in the low to mid 80s, so definitely cooler than the last couple of days. 83 in Salisbury and Dagsboro, 83 in Lewis right now, Bethany Beach at 84, and the tropical dew point still not going away. In some cases, we're in the mid to upper 70s. That's a measure of moisture in the air, and it just has that feel of, wearing a wet sweater outside. Just very, very, very muggy, and feels like temperatures in the low to mid 90s, a far cry from yesterday where we had triple digit feels like temperatures. Winds are coming in out of the southwest, and they're going to be light really much of the day as we are seeing a mix of sun and clouds right now across Delmarva. Things are quiet for the time being, but we have this stationary boundary to our north, and that will be the focus for increased showers and storms as we go into the evening hours. Already starting to see some storms flaring up across the mountains into West Virginia and the Ohio Valley. And as we go into the evening hours, we'll see more of a flare up of those storms continuing to head our way as we go into the evening hours. But during the daylight, we're dry. Here's noon on Futurecast. We're into the mid to upper 80s, close to 90 around 2 p.m., 80s and even 91 in Lewis at 2, 89 in Millsboro. And then I think a lot of us settling into the low 90s this afternoon. Then after about 7 o'clock, you definitely have to be weather aware. Keep an eye to the sky. I think we'll see some heavy showers and storms moving into the eastern shore and then moving into Sussex County. You see the orange and red colors. That's indicating very heavy rain. We could be looking at flash flooding and training thunderstorms, meaning they stay over the same place time after time for a long time, giving us flooding conditions. So watch for that, low-lying areas, poor drainage areas, and we'll continue to see some of those showers moving through very early Thursday morning. I think we get a break tomorrow morning before it fires up again in the afternoon. Slight risk of severe weather all across the area, maybe damaging winds this evening, but more importantly, that chance of flash flooding as we have a stationary boundary pretty much draped over the top of us as we go through your Friday. That means on and off showers and storms and localized flash flooding. You can see that the showers and storms flare up again later Thursday into Friday as well. I think more isolated as we go into the weekend. Won't be a washout for the weekend, but you see these red colors. That's indicating at least 2 to 3 inches of rain, possibly more if you get under one of those heavier cells as we go through the next few days. Muggy meter, very humid to miserable, so really no break from the humidity the next several days. 90 in Dover today, 90 around Georgetown, 85 in Rehoboth, mix of sun and clouds, 90 in Easton and Vienna, and also pretty warm around Princess Anne, 90 degrees there, and 90 in Ocean City and Chincoteague as well. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Once again, we have the PM yellow alert for that flash flood potential this evening. And then Thursday and Friday, mainly afternoon and evening storms with mid 80s. The weekend, not a washout. In fact, a little drier Saturday, 88 an isolated storm. But those storm chances crank up again Sunday into Tuesday with highs in the mid to upper 80s.
Thank you, Bob. And here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4.
Coming up today on Coast Life at 4 o'clock, it's the return of my co-host, Leah Rizzo. She's going to be back on the couch in another new glorious outfit from the gang over at Water Lily. You won't want to miss that. Plus, I'm sure she'll fill us in on what she did with her big, long weekend. And we're going to be discussing health with the group over at BB, plus a little bit about early child learning. You always want to make sure the kids are on that right path. We're going to help you get the information you need. Tune in at 4 for Coast Life.
A rather rocky 4th of July weekend continues to be a popular subject in Ocean City. At Monday night's council meeting, a neighbor aimed his frustration at the Ocean City Police Department, saying there was a lack of visibility on the boardwalk. One council member answered with a vote of confidence for OCPD and then mentioned that back in March, county leaders denied a $1 million request to support the town's police department. Commission President Ted Elder says he does not regret that decision.
No, not at all. Not at all. We have several municipalities in the county that aren't funded. None of them's funded by the county. I mean, maybe they want to bump it up and go to the state.
Elder says even if the county had approved the money, the check would not have cleared in time for the 4th of July holiday weekend. Coming up, Broadkill Beach Sand Solutions will tell you why some locals say the dunes could use some help. Sands along the dunes at the Broadkill Beach have Delaware officials searching for solutions. These are the dunes at Broadkill Beach, and they're experiencing erosion. A proposal from DENREC is intended to fix that. It would realign a 1-mile section of the dune and shift it landward, along with redistributing sand to the erosion in the center and improved beach access points. People living in this area say the shores need some help.
Recently, past 5 years, I'd say, it's like beaches just become super small, and the drop off, it's hard. People would love to drive on with their ATVs and stuff, but it's really hard. And I feel like it just sucks.
Members of Broadkill Beach Preservation Association tell us to expect DENREC officials at their meeting on July 19th to review the project.
Pretty nice day along the coast. Some puffy clouds, some blue skies, 88 in Lewis. It's going to be into the mid to upper 80s there. It's another warm and humid summer day. Then the potential for flash flooding this evening. Be weather aware. Call the CoastTV First Alert weather phone. Your forecast just a call away. Sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico. Your 10-day forecast is next. A typical summer afternoon in store for Delmarva. A mix of sun and clouds. Have the sunscreen and the water as well. Then be weather aware this evening. Showers and storms could cause flash flooding. I do have a yellow alert for that flood watch into this evening. Some of those storms putting down a lot of rain in a short period of time. Paul Davis 10-day forecast. 84, still a little stormy Thursday, and then Friday mid 80s, especially in the afternoon and evening. We'll see those storms. Dries out Saturday, 88, 87 on Sunday as the storms return, and looking pretty normal. Like normal summer weather next week, mid to upper 80s with more storms.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News Midday. And for more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Don't forget to join us for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon. Have a great day.